morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all the fellow panelists and those who are watching from different time zones. Welcome you for this panel discussion on citizen development, empowering employees to drive innovation and digital transformation. This is a global awareness week on citizen development. So this is the kickoff session. So you will be hearing from experts from across India and also from the US what is citizen development and know who are they, what they can do, what organizations can know, how organizations can empower them to do their bit in innovation. So we have a lineup of panelists here. We have Vivek Goel, who is Vice President Marketing and Evangelism at Quixi. We have Abhishek Anant Garg, Research Analyst with Quadrant Solutions. We have Matt Hubbard, Head of Operational Excellence from TrackVia. Anoop Nair, Senior Manager Digital Transformation at Joget. So before I start asking questions, I have to tell something. When I first heard about citizen development about 5 6 years ago, as a financial journalist, I thought it is about development of citizens and government policies and schemes and all that. So after a couple of years, I learned about it. Now, good that I congratulate the organizers for holding this awareness week. We need a lot of awareness around this subject because simply citizen development means it can be, as I mentioned earlier, it can be anything. But citizen development can empower organizations because they know an organization, but they may not be having enough technical skills. But they can chip in because they know the organization. They can chip in. They can using low code and no code solutions that are available in abundance now. They can use them. They can contribute a lot. They can contribute a lot to the innovation, not just for the company but for the whole innovation ecosystem. They can bring in more ideas. It is opening a whole new set of human resources to the development of IT tools. Now I'll start off. See, this is a very basic session. You will get to know the what is the whole concept around citizen development. This will demystify if you are not fully aware, if you are not aware of this concept. Vivek, I will start off with you. Just tell us what is citizen development, how actually it is different from other traditional customary development.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm very glad to be here to share my insights on citizen development. So we all know, right? We live in a digital world today, right? Everybody is looking for digital solutions. At home, we are looking for digital solutions to order food, to order grocery, for everything, to watch TV. We are not going to theaters anymore. So we live in a digital world where expectation is everything should be digital. So is for the businesses and enterprises, right? We are trying to do digital solution. No employee wants to walk into an office where stuff is being done on paper or anything. Everybody wants to add value to their work, wants to have a feeling of fulfillment at the end of the day. So we look for efficiency, that we all the mundane tasks we should be able to do it automatically, but whatever we do should be some value adding activities. So every business is also looking at delivering digital solutions to their customers for better experience and to differentiate themselves from the competition. And especially post COVID, we all know, right, what COVID did, how the employees got separated from the business, how the customers got separated from the business. So whatever digital transformation used to be a nice to have thing for businesses, all of a sudden became a mandatory thing for the businesses to survive. So there is a huge need for digital solutions in organizations. And we all know that only 0.2 to 0.5 percentage of population can build solutions, have the technical skills. So with such a scarcity of professional developers, and not only 0.2, 0.5, they are there, but they are so hard to get in terms of cost, in terms of availability, and at the same time, so hard to retain, right? So, in the absence of these professional developers, how do we meet such huge demand? So, thankfully, that is where no code platform and citizen development comes into picture. So, the idea of citizen development is basically to democratize, to move that power or the ability to build solutions, which is currently was in the past only held by those 0.2 to 0.5%, a part of that ability, because they are also overwhelmed, right? They have so much of IT backlogs that they are not able to meet, all the IT departments are not able to meet the demand from the business. So to move some of that power to build solutions to the citizens, to actual business users, who can be like a marketing executive, who can be a accounts guy, who can be maybe a business analyst, right? So to empower them to be able to address their small challenges, right, starting from a very small challenge where somebody's asking them to use a paper form, or they are having to deal with data in an Excel, right, where they can build digital solutions themselves without knowing technical skills, without knowing coding, right? So to giving them the power to these business users to build solutions and meet part of the IT needs in an organization and become efficient is, to me, citizen development, right? So yeah, so and we have like citizen developers. I maybe through the course of this session, I'll share some of the experiences of how different business users in our organization are building solutions without having to go to IT. So yeah, I think that's where I would like to stop.
So it is going to break the glass ceilings. Anyone can build, some solution.
I
So
think
any,
it's already. I think it
yeah,
already is.
it is happening, but no awareness levels are very low. Any other, no, any the three others? Can you chip in with your views on this?
Yeah, I'd like to add, if that's
Yeah, yeah.
okay. Kurmanath, you commented about the term citizen development and how when you first heard it, you weren't sure what it was. Well,
Hmm,
I've been a citizen developer for over 10 years before the term even existed. And
hmm,
so I connect to it very regularly. But when I use the term citizen development, some people kind of scratch their heads and they go, "What? I really don't know what you're talking about." One person even said something similar to your story, which was, is citizen development a nefarious plan by the government to control its population? And that just completely threw me for a loop because I just assumed everybody knew what citizen development was because I've been doing
yeah,
it for over a decade. But that's not the case. I think
hmm,
last year, with the Project Management Institute entering the arena, I think a
hmm,
lot more people are educated about citizen development, but we still have a lot of work to do.
hmm,
Um,
hmm,
I think the way that I've started to describe citizen development is it's building apps by people who are not trained coders,
hmm,
okay,
hmm,
but doing
hmm,
it in a smart way. So
hmm,
it involves three things. It involves the people, the technology, and the process. Okay,
hmm,
so the
hmm,
people are the citizen developers like me who were not trained coders. I want to
hmm,
use technology to
hmm,
improve my business,
hmm,
but I need a tool to do that, and that's the technology. That's the low code, no code
hmm,
platforms that allow us to drag and drop and build applications. And
hmm,
then the third piece, which is important, is the process. That's
hmm,
your best practices, your governance, your guardrails for doing this safe. Okay.
hmm,
Just
hmm,
because you can drag and drop doesn't mean you'll do it very well. So it's
hmm,
important that
hmm,
you have these guardrails. And then the other thing I wanted to comment, Vivek, you mentioned how IT doesn't have the staff to build all of these applications. Well, we all know that the world is digital, but there was one group, Microsoft, who tried to put a number to those number of applications, and they estimated that over a 5-year period, 500 million applications will need to be built, which is more than the last 40 years combined. I mean, that number is just staggering. And so, who's going to build all those applications? We already don't have enough developers to do that.
hmm,
So, this
hmm.
is where I believe citizen developers are going to start chipping in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anup, we will no, go a step deeper into this. Can you just tell us who are citizen developers? How actually they are different from traditional developers? If you can know you are into digital transformation processes, can you explain the broad categorization of these two guys?
Yep, I can. I think before I start, I would even like to add one thing what Matt even talked about. So, gone are those days when people say to develop an application, I need a developer. So gone are those days. I mean, people are stepping in, they are developing their own application that they are wanting to, and that's really good as well. So coming back to your question where you talked about the difference between a professional developer and a citizen developer. So a professional developer are those who are really into codes, like Matt and Vivek talked about, right? The folks who are their main core goal is to develop different kind of applications to make sure the business is up and running and the business demand is catered to. Those are the people who are really doing and sitting the code, building the entire architecture, making sure that whatever the business is talking about, they first understand and then start building an application. Now, the term citizen developer comes in where the person who has like very less or no experience in coding, but they very well know what is the process and what they really want. Once they are aware about what they want, they can go to the tool and start building what they are easily looking for. So to give an example, the no code low code platforms that are available in the market now are becoming like Microsoft Excel. They are giving you the power to develop the things that you need and use for your own benefits, for your own department, to make sure that you become a master on what you are thinking of, because you already know the process, right? The only thing that you have to do is you have to just drag and drop, make sure that what you are envisioning is what you are developing. So citizen developer is someone who knows the process really close but is not very much technical,
Okay,
but
thanks,
still
thanks.
they are able to develop
Okay.
the power, using the power of no code low code platforms.
Thanks, Anoop. Before I go to the next question, there is a housekeeping announcement. We are 14 minutes into the discussion. So this discussion will continue for 30 minutes more. And then 15 minutes, we will open the floor for questions from the audience. This is the flow of the event for the remainder of the session. So, Matt, can you tell us what are the you are among the first citizen developer after the term existed, though the practice is happening sometime back. As the term exists, you are among the first citizen developers. Tell us what are the benefits in terms of tangible and intangible benefits of being a citizen developer for the developer himself and for the organizations.
Sure. Wow. That just to be clear, I can go on and on and
Yeah,
on,
of
and we'll
course.
talk about citizen development. So
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
free to cut me off whenever you
yeah.
need to.
Sure.
Okay. Um, Let me describe the benefits by just telling how I got into citizen development.
Hmm,
Okay,
hmm.
so I'm a process improvement professional. I look at the way processes flow, how effective they are or ineffective they are. And then I improve those processes on paper. So a lot of like Lean Six Sigma consultants would do this type of work, right? Um, I discovered years ago that as the world is going digital, I need a digital tool to control my process because I can document it, I can train people on it, but then I have to audit and follow up. Are you doing the process? Are you doing it like it was supposed to be done? Are you doing it so that you're meeting the quality expectations? But if I could build a digital tool to control that process, I could guarantee that the process is happening the same every time with great quality. Well, when I tried to work with IT over 10 years ago to try to get a system developed for processes that I was improving, I got a rude awakening. I was told for one project I was working on that the system would take 10 years to build, would cost $10 million, and you would get zero changes. You get one shot at it. And that just was not realistic. So they said, go ahead and look off the shelf, see if there's something there. There was nothing that matched our process. So the last option was, yeah, use your spreadsheets and your email and your share drives and just do your best. And it never was good enough. And so citizen development, the primary benefit is it has allowed me to actually build a tool at a in a way that doesn't take very long, at a lower cost, and it controls my process way better than spreadsheets or email. So I consider it now like my superpower because I can control my processes to a T and then use data to continuously improve it. So
Okay.
those are a few reasons why I think citizen development is beneficial. You get more done, you do it faster, and you do it at a lower cost. Now, I'm not saying citizen development is always a benefit. There are some cases where you want to develop from scratch, okay?
Hmm.
And so you need to partner with IT for those scenarios.
Okay.
I'd say two other items that are significant for benefit is to the organization, and that's that citizen development can help rein in shadow IT. And I'm sure we'll talk about what shadow IT is a little bit later. But it reins in shadow IT, and it also helps IT with their massive backlog.
Yeah, okay. I think I should ask this question to Abhishek, who is studying this subject. No, he must be. Uh, he's a research analyst with Quadrant. Abhishek, you tell us. You give us a sense of the landscape of citizen development, and what are the current trends? How work it is? How companies are receptive? How they are encouraging? If you can give us some broad trends.
So as you with the introduction of the low code, sorry, this citizen development, you mentioned that you were not aware about citizen development. So I think still there are many people who are not able to adopt citizen development and are not actually able to comprehend what are the powers of citizen development and how well it can help them empower their organizations. So there's a lot of scope for these developers to understand and adopt citizen development. And as we see the trends, so first of all, there's a huge scope of integration in terms of enterprise grade platforms that can be developed through citizen development and will also help uh, organizations to reduce their shadow IT and the burden on the IT teams. Though this all has to be done in the care of the IT teams, and I believe there is a huge scope for adoption of AI ML in citizen development, so that many of the repetitive works that the people perform through low code are also incorporated within the system itself. And this will also help introduce a lot of collaboration between the teams and help the developers to gain more citizen developers to gain more insight about what actual development is, and they might also get interested into developing more complex and enterprise grade softwares themselves. So I think these are the core trends that I see for the future of low code as well as citizen development.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Vivek, no, you have been evangelizing heavily on citizen development. We must accept that they are not some no superheroes. No, they have certain strengths, but no, we should highlight those strengths. Can you tell us who actually can become a citizen developer? What exactly they can do? If you can give us certain examples, that will help. It will be a pragmatic approach to understand and appreciate citizen development.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, I think I would like to build on what Matt was saying, right? So,
Yeah.
while we are saying that citizen development means that business users can build applications without writing any code, that doesn't mean that anybody who can drag and drop should get into it, right? So, I think the first most important skill I would say is that a very good understanding of the business, right? That they are in, the business problem that they are trying to solve. So without knowing that, it's very hard, right? Because you need that knowledge. What is the pain point that you are trying to solve? Unless you know that, you will not be able to build the right solution. Next is, like, once you know your business problem, the next step I would say is understand the platform that you're using, right? Choosing the right platform, and assuming IT has made that choice for you, understanding the platform capabilities, because now some of the platforms that are out there in the market are very comprehensive, right? They are now enabling these business users to collaborate with IT and build complex enterprise grade applications. While they are enabling them to build complex enterprise grade applications, they have become comprehensive. They have a huge feature set. So it's very important that you spend the time to develop your thorough understanding to make sure that you are able to leverage all the functionality that is available to you, right? In terms of soft skills, I would say that you will need a lot of analytical skills, right? Even though you're not coding, that doesn't mean you don't have to have logic. Logic has to stay with you. So you have to have that logical thinking. You have to have that creativity thinking, right? So of how to solve a problem, because the business user, if you are the business user yourself, you know, but sometimes you are building the solution for, in my marketing team, I have a designated person, while everybody's trained or certified on citizen development, but there is a designated one or two people who build those solutions. So they have to be able to understand my problem when I say that, and in great detail. So, and have the right problem solving skills, the communication skills to talk to me, to understand my pain points and translate them into a solution that would work for me, right? So those requirements still says. So I would say business knowledge, the knowledge of the platform, the analytical skills, the creativity skills, and communication and attention to detail are some of the main skills that I think, or I have in my list when when we choose citizen developers in our organization, or what we recommend to
Okay.
others.
Okay. Thanks, Vivek.
Kurmanath,
Yeah.
if it's okay, I'd like to just add a little bit to that. I love all the
Yeah.
skills that Vivek just
Please go
described.
ahead. Yeah. Yeah.
If somebody is going to be successful as a citizen developer, I like to say that they need three things. They need
Hmm.
the skill. That's everything that Vivek just described. They
Hmm.
also need the will and the
Hmm.
support.
Hmm.
Okay. So, what I mean by the will is
Hmm.
this is not easy stuff if you're just getting started for the first time. So,
Hmm.
you need to have the will to persevere and the
Hmm.
patience to go through those hurdles as you cross them. And those hurdles might be your own skill, those hurdles might be other departments that are maybe resistant to you doing this. The last thing I said you need is support. You need the support of your organization. You don't want to do this in the shadows without people knowing. And
Hmm.
so your manager should be very supportive of you doing this, as well as hopefully IT, because I would love to see IT being the promoter of citizen development.
Okay. Thanks, Matt, for that. We have an interesting definition by one of the viewers on LinkedIn. Madan Upadhyay says, citizen development is about by the business, to the business, and by the people and for the people. So he summarized it very well. Uh, I will ask a question to Anoop Nair. I think he is better suited to answer this. Anoop, can you tell us how actually can citizen developers can help accelerate digital transformation and business agility? Now, whether they can address the backlogs, if any kind of bringing how actually they can bring in innovation. If you can throw some light on that.
Sure. So I think there are few areas that we need to understand that what is the business problem that the business is trying to solve. That is first. The second thing is they have to also understand the choice of technology which is being accepted by their IT team, and then based on that the business team needs to first see what business problems can they solve using the technology that they have in their hand. That is first. Once they know the limitations, they can go back to IT and say, okay, because a lot of no code, low code also comes with something called as pro code. They can go back to their IT and say, hey, I see this component is missing and I need your help to get this component up and running. So there comes the collaboration between IT and business. And what happens is when the business will see that, okay, now I'm able to solve a specific problem using the platform itself, the backlog from the IT goes into the business queue where they will start developing the application by their own, and the component which requires heavy coding or a pro code approach, what would happen is IT would develop that and provide the business as a component itself that will work as a plug and play for them, so that the business really doesn't need to do a lot of coding. But yes, the business really has to understand the capabilities of the tool itself and see what is the missing piece where they need help from IT to get that help and make sure that the backlog that was there in the IT department is then moved into business. So by this approach, what happens is a lot of applications are being developed by the business themselves, and the burden from the IT is reduced because they know that, and they'll focus on the high ticket items which really needs IT's attention, and they know that business is self-sufficient to run their own business and make the small applications or the customized huge applications which are required. As Matt said, right, they know that this is the new process, we need something on top of that specific process, and make sure that there is a proper governance that is in place, a proper structure. And using the low code, what you will get is you will not only get the system, but you will also get the audit trails. You will also see if every team member who's using the system is also following the best practices. And even what will happen is it will become a kind of Kaizen effect, wherever when you develop a system, because it was developed by the business itself, right? So they know that, okay, when I'm doing this steps, this is happening. Now how can I improve this? So it goes into a kind of Kaizen event where there is a continuous improvement on the system which they have built, and the ownership is taken by the business itself because they have developed the system by themselves. So that's how the IT backlog can be reduced, and even the business can collaborate with IT and make sure they work together to achieve the same goal.
Thanks. See, I can, since I am from journalism, I can draw a parallel here. As development, it has the potential, going by your arguments, it has potential to disrupt the IT development landscape. Like citizen development in journalism, we have citizen journalism. Like citizen development, we have citizen development. They are simply disrupting the established models of journalism. Hyper local news, no, they are simply with a mobile phone. They are reporting like anything, putting us a lot of pressure on traditional news organizations. Yeah, I can no easily draw a parallel between the two things. Matt, you tell us what kind of applications can citizen developers can build, and are there any distinction between what they can build, what they cannot build, what they should not build actually?
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that. What kind of applications can a citizen development developer build? The truth is, they can develop any kind of application, but it depends on their maturity. If they're just getting started, if this is their first time, I wouldn't be building an application that goes multifunctional, out to the public, high risk. Start simple, right? So, what I tell people is if it's your first app, make sure that it's just for you, not for other departments, because we're going to control the risk. All right. And I say supercharge a spreadsheet. That's the simplest first step. If you're tracking something in a spreadsheet, like tasks that have due dates with a status, spreadsheets are decent, but they can't create dashboards for you in real time that push notifications and say, hey, this one's coming due, or this one's past due, or push it out to different people automatically, or even automatically generate reports. So I think the first application that anyone could build would be to take that spreadsheet, upload it into a low code, no code platform, and then just add that additional functionality of notifications and automatic reports. And you feel like, wow, I didn't know I could build something like that. I had no idea that I'd ever have that capability. And then what that does is that gives you the confidence to then try to build something a little more complicated. Something a little more complicated might be a workflow that spans one or two or three people. Beyond that, it might be multi-departmental, and you might even start to get into multiple tables that connect. But my whole point is citizen developers can build at anything, but you need to start small and then grow into it.
Yeah, if I can add to that example, right? Very simple example with three apps. I'll try to make the same point. When we were very new to citizen development, we were using Google Forms, right? But we do a lot of events. So when you're doing an event, you try to capture some survey or something. We were not able to do it with the Google form. We wanted to ask some conditional questions, which we were not able to do. We thought there has to be a better way, and we thought we can do with our own platform, and we were able to build conditional survey with conditional questions. If you're answering this, then next question should be that. That was a very simple form submission. We didn't want to give a paper and then come back to our office and process those forms. So very simple form automation. It was working. Offline functionality, it was good. Then we thought, like, maybe as Matt said, right, once you get confidence and you understand the capability, as a next step you can look at workflows. So like in our team, we work with a lot of content writers. Some of them are freelance content writers. So at the end of the month, they all raise invoices, and our content lead processes them. So they were all coming in through email, and it was becoming hard to trace them. Sometimes they're following up what happened, and then you realize, oh, you missed that email. So that kind of a workflow, we were able to build it where now the stakeholders are not just person who's filling the form. Now there are more people involved. There is a content writer who's submitting an invoice. There is a content lead who's reviewing it. Sometimes if it based on the value of the invoice, it can come to the next level. Then it goes to the finance for approving. So we were saying we saw that you can actually build a process that is going across departments now, and it's working seamlessly, and everybody's getting visibility. The person who's submitting or who's initiating the workflow can see where I am in the three-step workflow. So that way it is going across departments. Then we thought, okay, if we're able to achieve that, we should be able to do more, right? So the next step, now the whole content that we develop at Quixie, we manage it through the own platform that we have built a comprehensive content management app where anybody in the organization can give us a content idea and say that, why are you not like writing this blog, why are you not writing this ebook, it will make a lot of sense for the audience. And then based on that, it goes to an SEO strategist who see that, okay, fine, this person wants it, but is internet wanting it, are there enough search queries? So they do their SEO check, and if they see they tell us that this should be the title, this should be the keywords. Once it is done, it goes to a content writer who writes the content, and the flow continues. We know how it works for any SaaS company, content generation. So the whole workflow, now everybody has dashboards, everybody is seeing what is assigned to me, what is pending evaluation, how many suggestions do we have. I as a marketing head is able to see how much content is on the pipeline. Are we generating enough content week on week? Do we have a plan? Do we have a content calendar? Right, so all that visibility is there. So that way it is a very comprehensive solution, and that is actually the main solution that I am using apart from our CRM. So again, to answer the question, it can, as Matt said, you can, with today's platform, and Quix is not the only one, I should say, and I'm very happy about it. There are very like a huge variety of platforms. Some are horizontal focused, some are vertical focused, and using this platform today, you can build quite comprehensive applications on the platform.
Thanks, Vivek. Actually, you preempted one of the questions. Madan, actually, Upadhyay has asked a question to give him a use case. You have just done that. Actually, more than one you gave. Uh, Abhishek, no, research analysts are very firm. They are very harsh on no the processes. They know they don't mince words when it comes to analyze things. You tell us what are the issues with when citizen developers with low or no development experience with them, they build something. What are the issues related to kind of governance issues, the security issues, no how actually you people view that, how to ensure that?
So I believe the first of all, the issues that citizen developers face, especially if it is not a practice that has been evolved into their organization. The first step is that there are no standard tool sets that they can utilize, and so they are using different kind of low-code tools, or like for example, we see that there is a lot of shadow IT in the industry. So the reason is the standardization is not there, and if the IT provides a set of standard tools that the citizen developers can utilize and also train them technically on them, so it will be very easy for them to understand a proper flow, a proper process to develop any of the tools, sorry, the software that they require, and start small and then build into a proper this apps or applications that involve multiple departments. And I think a good mentorship is the first thing that they face is not they are not able to get, and they are not able to understand that this particular process that they are following might have some issues regarding to the security and safety of the company itself. And many a times they are unable to follow the different kinds of safety protocols that the company has established, and some many times they are not simply aware of these protocols. So I think the absence of a standard tool set and a good mentorship are the primary two setbacks that they face while developing softwares on the citizen developers develop.
Thanks, Abhishek.
Yeah.
Vivek, no, you are into evangelism. I would like to know. See, it cannot be a one-off kind of no one-trick pony kind of stuff. You have to have a culture of citizen development in an organization, so that no several staffers, several employees come and chip in. What should organizations do, if you can tell in 2 points? What should organizations do promote this culture of innovation, and what are the two major roadblocks in this in the promotion of this culture?
What can organization do? I think one is to understand and build awareness around, right, that these tools exist. And that is what we are trying to do, and maybe through this event itself we are trying to take that message to the wide audience, that what is citizen development and how it can impact, right? So building that awareness that today if you have a problem, right, if you are looking for some automation, some spreadsheet automation, some paper, you want to eliminate a paper form in your daily routine, you have citizen development now. There are tools out there that can help you automate the spreadsheet, do your data visualization, automate that workflow, build that small app, right? So building, I think the first step is to build that awareness. And again, when you do that, a lot of times it is becoming like IT versus business, or a professional developer versus citizen developer. We all have to understand there is no competition here, right? The value of citizen development is where they are helping, and as I think Anoop was mentioning, Abhishek was also mentioning, the citizen developers or business users are now helping the IT, so that IT can actually focus on more strategic projects, right? As a survey, 72% of IT leaders said that they are not able to focus on the strategic projects because they are overburdened by this IT backlog that is coming from business. So citizen development gives them that freedom, that they can focus on more mission critical, where there is huge security requirements, huge scalability requirements, right? They can focus on that projects and enable their business units. And these platforms are not like, again, I think we should make a distinction between shadow IT and citizen development. So it is IT who is enabling these business users, reviewing these platforms, and evaluating them for governance, for security, for privacy, right? All the requirements, you cannot compromise on those requirements when you're going for or giving that power to your business users. So after doing the due diligence, it is IT who is empowering or enabling these business users to saying that take these platforms now. You don't have to come to us for all your business application that you're using within your department, and when you want to build more complex applications, come collaborate with us, and we can together build complex applications which will go across departments, which we can even integrate with other systems outside our organization. So I think building that awareness, that what is the power and how to do it correctly with the right governance is I would say the first thing that we should do. Obviously, once you have that awareness that you have built with your leadership also, right? Obviously, you have to sell it to your leadership also. The next is obviously identifying these platforms, what is fit, because again, one platform will need not meet all your requirements, and that is where I think Gartner predicts that every organization by 2024 will be using, at least enterprise will be using 4 or 5 of these no code low code platforms.
Okay.
So
Okay.
once the IT teams recognize these platforms, business users also do their pilot projects and bring them to light by sharing their successes with IT, right? So you have these 4 or 5 platforms that you have recognized, then you streamline them, you procure them, and you train the users on them, on those platforms. Do your small projects, as we were discussing, start with smaller projects, and share those experiences. Some of them might fail, which is okay. You just have to share how are they feeling, what are the learnings. If we are winning, what was the win about, what are the results, what are the outcomes. Celebrate those victories and losses, I would say, or the failures, and build on them, right? Because according to me, citizen development and no code low code platforms are here to stay. There is no way IT can meet all the demands with the shortage, with the cost and everything involved. It is just that you have to figure out how to make this platform works, how to train your manpower, how your workforce to be able to leverage to encash on the value that, or the promise that this platform bring. So I would say that that education, identification of this platform, training, and celebrating and encouraging them, right? Giving them the visibility, showcasing those victories will motivate more and more naysayers or people who are resistant to change to adopt these platforms, is what I think.
Okay, thanks, Vivek. Matt, no, does it pay? What about incentivizing citizen developers? It is just a pat on the back, or organizations are going to give them something? How actually it works?
That is an interesting question. So let me think for just 1 second. For me, it wasn't the cash incentive that got me into citizen development. It
Hmm.
was that my work sucked, and I needed to be better. I was miserable with these terrible flows and terrible quality and terrible processes.
Hmm.
And so once I was able to actually be empowered to do something about it and
Hmm.
make my work better, I now had joy in my work. Not only doing it, but continuously improving it. So I think that is the number one incentive. But what I will also say is that I've noticed over the last 10 years that folks who get into citizen development, they get acknowledged for improving the way their department flows and the way their department works. And I've even seen citizen development become a promotion machine where somebody starts out as an analyst. They develop these tools to make things better, and then they get promoted into a more senior position because of the success that they've had. Now, I that's not to say that you can't do cash incentives. I have heard of companies that are doing that. When you do a project, you get a small bonus, or when you save the company so much money, you get a small bonus.
Okay.
Um, but I think that's probably more rare than just general acknowledgement, just general celebration.
Thanks,
Shell,
Matt. Can I
yeah,
interrupt you?
yes,
I
go
have
ahead.
one last question to Anoop. Anoop, what about security and testing? Can you just quickly? We have just 30 seconds.
Oh, okay, great. So, security, and so I think, as I spoke previously as well, right? Citizen development doesn't just mean that business is developing and pushing everything to production. So, there is a role that IT plays wherein they do all the right kind of checks before the apps or the application that is built by the business user is moved to production, right? So, what happens is, there is a kind of team which is called as a center of excellence for no code low code or digital transformation, who has these kind of roles, who goes and validates everything and
I
knows that.
I I'll stop it
Mhm.
now. No, no, I have to stop it here because no questions. There are several questions that are pouring in. Sorry, Anup, for that.
No problem.
I think no, according to
Hopefully
the
we can
schedule,
answer some of them. We can
yeah.
continue to answer some of them.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions from Avanti and Mahi. How to spot a citizen development project? Can Matt answer this?
How
how
to
to how to
start?
how to spot a project that is eligible for a CD project?
Oh, that's a good question. Let me answer this with how some of the big organizations are doing this.
Hmm.
Okay, so Shell Oil, one of the biggest companies in the world, they have launched a citizen development program at scale. Okay, and what they do, they have what's called a zoning model. And their zoning model is very similar to PMI's model, which is basically assessing the risk and the complexity of the project. So looking at risk and complexity and then determining if this is suitable for citizen developers, co-development with IT, or IT only. So I think I would plant those two seeds. Make sure that the risk is low for citizen development and make sure that it's not too complex. Now, complexity, what does that mean? That might mean your app needs a little bit of coding, or maybe it needs integration with other systems. If you've got that level of complexity and this is one of your first times developing an app, you might consider doing that in partnership with IT instead of as a citizen developer on your own. Shell that I mentioned with their zoning model, every single application that is suggested to be built has to go through one of these risk analyses to determine what the appropriate zoning is.
Thanks, Matt. Anoop, I think this is a question to you. Could you please share your insights on the role of ChatGPT in digital transformation?
I think Chat GPT is also helping business a lot to kind of evolve. Let's say if, as Matt said, right, if there is a citizen developer who's just starting the phase of developing apps and he's stuck at some point and he needs assistance. So there would be three, four ways he can reach out to. One is to the community of that particular product itself. The second one is the IT, third one is their manager, and fourth one is now Chat GPT, right? You can just ping where you are stuck, and it will give you answer saying, okay, try these all things and you may succeed. So Chat GPT is more of enabling the users to achieve what they are looking for, and
Okay,
it will play a very big role.
thank you, Anoop.
Yeah,
Vivek,
if I am allowed to give one example of what I have
yeah,
seen, and
uh,
in
uh,
one of the application that I was coming across,
okay,
I'm not sure if it is Chat GPT integration, but it was an integration with AI tool. So basically, it was a customer success tool where they're getting a lot of tickets from the customers, right? Which with lot of times the customers are writing long paragraphs about what the problem they are facing. So they are using a Chat GPT integration to summarize. So basically, automatically, without having a customer success rep to go through the whole thing, right, to understand what it is preparing a summary of what the user is saying. It is doing a categorization into some buckets, right, and based on the some automatic categorization, they are routing it to the right team, and also they are doing sentiment analysis, right. So those are all the prompts that you can actually do on Chat GPT. This service management tool or customer service tool has integrated all those prompts within the platform, so that they are doing sentiment analysis, they are doing summarization, they are doing language translation, they are encouraging their users to write to them in whatever language they're comfortable with, because they are able to translate that without having to go to Google and use a translate service. What the hell is what the hell is this user writing? So those are that is one example. One thing that we are ourselves trying to do is, like, when we come up with, somebody says you should write on this topic, maybe that topic, while it is fine, but may not be the best topic. So we can use Chat GPT to suggest, like, what are the topics close to these topics where there is search volume, right? Or to come up with the structure of what a blog, if you're writing on this blog as a marketing team, if I'm writing a blog on a title, what should be the structure of that blog? Chat GPT can give you a very good outline. Obviously, you should not rely on any AI thing. I would not do that. But
okay,
but you have a starting point. You have a beginning point, which you don't have to now spend time. Earlier, like, you would want to go to Google, search for a keyword, find out all the 10 results, find out what are they writing about, and how you have to be do a better job, right? So now some of a part of this job is being done, and automatically, where you have a structure, where you have your keywords, where you have your beginning, ending, and then all you have to do is, now I have to make it better, right? So
okay,
all of a sudden your focus has shifted from a lot of research to, how do I add more value to something that I already have?
okay,
So those are some examples of integration of generative AI or Chat GPT, where
okay.
your no code, which is already very fast, is becoming faster for even the end users when they're using these platforms.
Here is actually Vivek a question to you. Why do you think no-code tools are still being adapted at an individual level or team level and not at an enterprise level? Here is a question from Teresa.
Yeah, I don't think that is true, right? Okay, I don't think that is true. But at the same time, if you see the journey of any organization, whoever has successfully adopted, and I would encourage people to read case studies of successful citizen development in any company. They all start with maybe one user or a one small use case, and based on the success that they see or the failure that they see, they slowly build, right? And that is the whole journey, that you become successful. And I took an example, right, where we started with a very simple app to a workflow to a enterprise app. So that is how the journey is. So I would not agree that it is no code adoption is limited to a single user or very simple app. It is going far beyond that thing. Having said that, we have already discussed that when you are going for complex application, and when your applications have more performance requirements, scalability requirement, you low code comes into picture. Your IT team has to come into picture. You have to make sure you are building something that is safe and secure. You cannot leave it just to your citizen developers to build apps, integrate, because they can potentially, without being aware, share some private information of your customers, of your employees outside the
Okay.
organization.
Okay.
But I don't think I think today's platforms are capable enough to be able to build complex solutions, and there are hundreds of citizen development stories out there now online, where you can see that it has gone beyond single user adoption and or small simple application adoption.
I'll be
Abhishek,
quick, but I'd like
yeah,
to build
yeah,
on that one if that's
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Um, here's why I think it hasn't reached wide scale adoption yet. It's because, remember earlier I mentioned people, technology, process. You need all three for citizen development. The technology has been proven out. Okay, these low code, no code platforms are everywhere. There's over 460 of them today, and many companies have multiple platforms. However, the process piece, the good management practices for scaling this in an organization have not existed that long. PMI just introduced that to the world a couple of years ago. Shell was an early adopter of citizen development, and they've been working on this for about 4 years. Now they have over 4,500 active citizen developers, but they've committed to this management practice that is fairly new. So that would be my reason why I think we're in the middle of introducing these management practices and scaling as we speak.
Okay. Anoop, can you tell us what is the landscape of availability of citizen developers? Are they in short supply, or no, there are enough number of citizen developers? And if someone is a good citizen developer established, no, are they being hired by others? What is the
So
landscape?
I think yes,
I mean,
today there
sorry.
is
Yeah, yeah. Go on. Yeah.
there is a shortfall of
Uh,
citizen developers
mm,
because, as Matt said, right, you need to first know the process. Second, you need to make sure that you are logically strong, and third, you need experience on building multiple complex apps.
okay.
So currently, the adoption of citizen developer is not that wide enough. So that is a shortfall, yes. And as you rightly pointed out, Shell also started the citizen developer, and there are a lot of people who are getting hired from Shell and are moving to different
Okay.
other companies to embrace the citizen development practice.
Abhishek, can you add on this?
Yeah, definitely. So, according to me, uh, as Anu mentioned, that there is a limited supply of citizen developers, but since anyone can become a citizen developer from appropriate training, and first of all, started learning from what is actually citizen development, like similar to the webinars we are doing to provide a similar, very basic understanding of what citizen development is, and starting building upon that and try to collaborate with their IT teams and embrace a culture. So from that we can move on to actually having a proper citizen development people for the actual development of citizen development culture in such a company. And moreover, more of the people will be able to understand how easy it is for any organization to adapt citizen development. Yeah.
Okay. Vivek, here comes the role of organizations in training. How actually they can spot a probable or prospective citizen developer, how actually they can equip them with certain skills that are needed.
Soft skills, I'm not sure, but I think as I said, right, more and more enterprises are IT teams are shortlisting. They are coming up with even tenders to select some of these no code low code platforms. And once they have identified them, they are asking business leaders to identify a few people in their teams as designated citizen developers, right? So one thing that I have learned from my experience also is that while everybody has problems at work, right? And I think Matt said that, right, how frustrated he was, right? And the value in citizen development is not the money. I'm not looking for money. I'm looking for freedom from those Excel sheets and paper forms. The fact that I'm able to do everything in an automated way is a is a compensation enough for me as a leader to adopt it, right? So I think the best way is to identify those 3 4 platforms, identify these users. We already discussed what kind of skills they are. These are people who are frustrated, right? Who don't accept things as they are, who are looking for change, who are looking for innovation, who are looking at how can I add more value. So identify these people with analytical skills, the logical skills, and train them on these platforms. Train them, do thorough training, because most of these platforms offer, they have their academies where people can go and do courses. If you want general training on citizen development, there are organizations like PMI who offer different kind of courses, one for awareness, one for people who are going to build like a practitioner course. They have courses for the business architect, who are the people who will be driving this change within the organization, right? So those kind of courses are very very useful, and PMI is doing a great job, I must say, of encouraging citizen development and spreading that awareness around citizen development. And I think when there is a pain point, there are people who are frustrated. If you give them the tools, which is already happening, right? And that is what shadow IT is. We could not touch upon that. Shadow IT is where people are taking things in their control, who are frustrated and saying this is not the way I'm going to work, and they are bringing in tools and using them themselves, which is creating that risk for security. And that is where IT is coming in key. There is no way we can stop these people, so better empower them with tools which are secure and safe, and put together, as Matt said, the right processes, right processes, right governance models. Train them on those models where they can build solutions for their problems, and IT team doesn't have to worry about how these might be compromising the security and privacy of data.
Oh, okay. Matt, if you can no, tell answer in 30 seconds because we have to wind up. See, there are two categories of people in IT industry, billable and non-billable. Do you think that no, all billable people are no, given more importance? Do you think that citizen developers can aspire for no to elevate to get elevated into that sphere?
Wow. So my understanding of the question is, can citizen developers become billable? Is that the essence of the
Yes,
question?
yeah,
The
I have
answer is
asked it
absolutely.
diplomatically. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. That was my path.
Okay.
I started out as a citizen developer for my company, solving problems internally, but eventually I started my own consulting business, consulting on improving processes, but also building apps that control these processes. And I was a citizen developer turned consultant, running a business founded on that. So yeah, 1,000%.
Thanks very much. Thanks. I thank all the panelists for their wonderful views. It actually helps. It builds awareness. Citizen developers development democratizes the development of IT. It actually eases pressure on no the kind of pressures that the IT industry is facing in terms of availability of workforce. And no, as Matt says, he aptly put it, people, technologies, and processes. These three things will play the key in the growth of citizen development. I thank the organizers, and I thank the panelists, and I thank the audience that have been watching this session. I thank all of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thanks.
everyone. Have
Thank
a
you.
good day ahead.
Everyone.
Thank you.
See you. Bye.
Yeah.